The thought about Bobby joining the Trump administration, and I don't care whether he's a secretary in the cabinet or not. I think there's a general feeling that he wouldn't get confirmed, and Trump doesn't care. He'll use him as an outside advisor, but his advice could be really important. The thought of him getting in there and helping us so that it's not, Nicole Shanahan and Megyn Kelly and Casey Means and Callie Means and all these other great warriors in the MAHA space running around trying to tell everybody, this is what you should do to your water filter. And this is the kind of, shopping you should do. And this is what you should avoid, which the average person has zero time for. Zero time. And even if they make the time, then finding the right products it feels next to impossible and totally daunting to where you get to fine, I give up. But the thought of having somebody like that in there with control over government agencies that are pushing these poisons on us is a light. It's like new possibility. Wait, I don't have to work that hard. Someone's going to make it ideally impossible, but realistically, at least a lot harder for them to shove this stuff in everything and control messaging, including within the medical establishment, that it's, quote, healthy or benign or fine.
It's all corruption. Early on in the campaign, the internal message was that corporate capture is responsible for all of this. It's not something that is intractable. The minute you start pulling away at the conflicts of interest, the minute you start pulling away at, the corporate lobbyists, and you just restore the agencies to agencies focused on the well-being of the people as a priority, many of these diseases start to fall away. Many of the issues that we're seeing in our children start to fall away. The truth will begin to emerge. We will have accountability in the government. Once again, right now, there is virtually none. It is so bad at this point and so overrun with corporate interests that it's actually hard to find any individuals that are willing to stand up and call out an investigation into a member of an agency that maybe has taken a contract they shouldn't have taken. Where is the media? Shouldn't the media be exposing some of these issues? Conflicts of interest are a really big deal. In every profession we have conflicts of interest standards to protect these oaths that people have taken. We see it in medicine. We see it in law. There's some in journalism, but at the agency level, it's very, very weak right now. And that's all we're saying. That's all we're saying is let's try to clean up this corruption so that we don't have predatory behavior that trickles down into really harmful impacts across our country. And this is not vindictive. This is literally just restoring our agencies to what they were intended to be.
You need look no further than the series Dope Sick to figure out what's happening. We know from our actual history, and we know it was represented so accurately and beautifully in that movie, that the FDA has been captured, that the FDA has got a revolving door with Big Pharma. That is the reason why the warnings on OxyContin were so weak and pathetic for as long as they were, hooking hundreds of thousands of Americans on this deadly drug. And virtually everybody listening to this program right now knows someone or knows someone who was killed as a result. The same people are in control of what's in your food. And the same problem affects so many of these administrative agencies right now that have been captured because these people don't care about what's in your kids' cereal. They care about where they're going when they leave government service and what size pool they can get in their backyard. That's what we need to fight against. And no one's even sounded the alarm on this until the MAHA movement, which has just exploded since he endorsed Trump and you guys made this your cause. And I don't know, Nicole. I really feel like divine right order has a hand here. I feel like we talked last time about your history, but you married Sergey, one of the co-founders of Google. You guys got a divorce. You wound up an independently wealthy woman. You could have done anything with your money. You could be sailing in St. Bart's right now with a team of servants feeding you grapes. But you chose not to do that. Like, I really feel like in a way you were chosen. And forgive me, but I almost feel like your daughter's story in this was an important piece. I mean, I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds, but like an important piece to helping you have the right focus and understanding, like maybe we question some of these government narratives, and then you hooked up with RFKJ. And all of this makes me feel like Trump will win, because why else would all of this have happened?
You know, I had a pastor tell me last week, she said, God doesn't waste our pain. And, I think that there is certainly something to be said for the journey I've been on that has forced me in many ways to be bold and brave and to fight for what is right. And, my daughter, she's everything to me. And I will say there has been great challenge and risk and, non-financial expense that I've paid to do this work and that I continue to pay to do this work. It hasn't been an easy environment to be here in Silicon Valley to, co-parent with someone that hasn't quite seen how all of these things impact a child. And I will say that, there is some plan. I do believe that there is a divine plan. And I also think that there's something that happens when people in a group are brave enough to talk about their experiences and their lived experiences. And I
think about when I was on Fox News and we talked about the possibility of vaccine injuries. This is back when I first started as an anchor, 2007. You were not allowed. I mean, they would run out to the set to tell you to shut that down if a guest said anything. This is back in the Jenny McCarthy days when she first started raising questions. And I remember her quote, "Too many shots, too soon." She wasn't saying there should be no vaccines. She said too many, too soon. And I remember them telling me, like, you have to push back on that, or they were going to get in trouble. And of course, half of Fox's advertising comes from Big Pharma. Like, it takes a while for you to start to see these connections, but eventually, and I said this to Bobby, and he said the same back to me. I had my kids all vaccinated with all the shots. So did he. That doesn't mean that there aren't legitimate questions to be explored and asked around what's in them, how soon we're giving them, and what the cocktail is, including drugs to prevent against STDs when the child's an hour old. This year, supply chain issues have been more prevalent than ever. Whether it's the result of natural disasters like Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton, global conflict, or inflation, the impacts are being felt everywhere. While they sometimes are a minor inconvenience, delays in accessing essential medications can become catastrophic. The U.S. relies on overseas sources for more than 80% of its generic medications. So what happens when there are delays? Or what if supplies are cut off? How will you care for your loved ones and yourself? The Jace case offers peace of mind for you and your family in the face of delays, shortages, and disasters. This is an emergency medication kit containing 5 life-saving antibiotics that treat the most common and deadly bacterial infections. Simply complete a quick online evaluation to ensure you're prepared. The Jace case can also be customized with add-ons like ivermectin, EpiPens, and more. Don't wait. Consider preparing right now. Receive a discount on your Jace case by visiting jase.com and entering promo code MK at checkout. That's promo code MK at jase.com, ensuring you have the right medications exactly when you need them. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.